So I've caught little glimpses of Safari Pedals demos, but I'm generally a bit cautious about looking too far into plugins because sometimes a bit too easy to spend all my money on them. But now I've finally had the chance to actually try them for myself, so what I want to do in this video is share and demo some of my favorites from their collection so far, as well as share my honest thoughts on the plugins when compared to other plugins that I use regularly. Big shout out to Safari Pedals for sending these over so I could give them a try. Let's get into it. So I actually started out this track with the twin Panda amp on my electric. I was sort of looking for a warm, spacey kind of sound, and this does a really good job of that. So let's hear it on the track. It has this really nice tone right out of the gate. I'm actually going to go back to the default settings so you can hear it right when it opens up. I was playing around with the presets here and really fell in love with the Soul Evo preset, so much so that I ended up just leaving it as is. I forgot to mention that I do have a link in the description if you want to check out these plugins for yourself. After I got that initial guitar part, I wanted to add more of a lead part using a different amp so that the two electric parts could sort of have their own identity. So this time I loaded up the Silver Llama amp, which sort of emulates classic rock and blues amps. The reverb on both of these is a bit thicker than I would normally have it, but I really like how authentic this sounds. It's almost like you're in a room with these amps. The controls on the Silver Llama are a bit simpler than the Twin Panda. You have your tone knob, gain, and then your spring reverb and a slap delay. And I don't think I mentioned it last time, but both of these amps allow you to switch between a condenser and a dynamic mic, which changes the tone quite a bit. And you know what positively changes my tone? When you hit that like button, but especially when newcomers also hit that subscribe button. That sounded better in my head. Next, I wanted to add a little bit of flavor to my snare track, so I added this Flamingo Verb, which is very colorful. I wanted to go for something a bit wild that I could dial back in the mix that would serve as some ear candy that wouldn't be too distracting. Let's take a listen. And as you can see, I'm really dialing this back. I've got the blend set to 4 or 5% here, but I think it adds a really nice touch to this track. This could get out of hand pretty easily, but I think it's cool that if somebody wanted to use it in that way, they could. Each of these controls can be turned on and off, so you can use whatever you want here without being stuck with all of it if that's what you wanted to do. And on the drums and the bass, I have a couple instances of Gorilla Drive. This one's really cool, but also really simple. You have your input, your output, phase, bypass, blend, and auto gain. That's it. So yeah, let's hear them in action. I like this a lot because you can get a lot of really good harmonic content out of it. And if you turn auto gain on, you can really just fiddle with the input and then not worry too much about gain staging. Next, I want to go ahead and pull up the Camel Strip on my Whirly track. That was kind of a weird thing to say. So this is an all-in-one channel strip. You've got your input drive, EQ, gate, compression, even some reverb. You really could get away with using this thing on its own on a vocal track or really anything you wanted to throw it on. Let's take a listen. You really could get crazy with that drive if you wanted to. I think in small doses like this, it adds just a really nice touch to the track. Sounds good to my ears anyways. One factor of these acting as guitar pedals is that you have everything all in one place. This one specifically has a lot on the surface, but when you focus on each section, you're really only working with like 1 to 3 knobs per effect. So you do get that simplicity, but you also get the flexibility of choosing different preamps and compressors and stuff like that. Now let's talk about how these plugins hold up against others in my collection. It's important to note here that you could probably achieve these sounds using a series of stock plugins in Logic Pro. So for instance, I could probably pull up the vintage EQ in Logic and really drive the preamp, add a gate, a compressor, some EQ, and maybe a bit of reverb. But I think one, it's going to be easier to get the sound you're looking for out of this plugin, and two, it's just all going to be in the same place. And the Camel Strip specifically just has a really nice warmth to it. I think the sound quality of all these are great as well. I've been using a lot of Universal Audio and Softtube stuff lately, which sounds amazing but can be quite expensive. And I think that the Safari Pedals plugins, which are much more affordable, they sound amazing as well. It's hard to directly compare some of these plugins because the Safari Pedals plugins are meant to be a bit more wild, a bit more colorful, but I think they really hold their own. And if you want to see like direct comparisons with specific plugins, let me know in the comments down below. Overall, I think these pedals are a great value for the money, especially if you get either the Everything bundle or the Essentials bundle. I think you end up getting each plugin for like $9 if you get one of those bundles. If you want to check them out, there's a link in the description. Ultimately, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Safari Pedals plugins. Does anything stand out to you, or do you think they're overhyped? Let me know in the comments down below. After that, check out this video right here. And as always, thanks for hanging out.